everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to a special episode of Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour. Is We're gonna be doing a discussion panel about some few things that I kind of had on my heart. Me and Miranda was kind of talking about it the last few weeks, and that's pretty much just women supporting women and encouraging women, and really, how can I put it? Accepting each other for who we are, because we're seeing, because of the Black Lives Matters and everything like that, we've seen lot of love for the men in our community, but not a lot
Mm.
of love for us women. So I just wanted to have a discussion panel on how we can increase the love for each other, encouraging each other, and instead of bringing each other down. I have a few examples that I'm going to pull out during the conversation and get opinions on it. But and of
So
course
please,
we have the
yeah.
lovely Alicia Brownell with us. She was here with us on Monday, and she graciously accepted our invitation to come on with us today and have
Hey, everybody.
this discussion panel.
Well, thank
And
you everyone for joining us. We our normally scheduled broadcast was with Dr. Walters. She was not able to make it. She had an emergency, and so we're just going to keep rolling because bougie girls, we got to stay ready, right? We don't have to get ready. We stay ready. So we are going live right now. We're going to have a Black Girl Magic conversation just to talk about what's been going on. Like Elena was saying, we don't see a lot of support for the Black women, but we,
Mm.
and that's fine. We love our Black men. We're going to always ride or die with them, right? And support them. But we also want to just let you all know, especially from our platform, that we love you as Black women. We love you. We support you. We want to be there for you. And we want to be there for one another. And
Right.
how can we strengthen one another? How can we be there for one another? How can we build one another up? So that's what this conversation is about. So please feel free to comment, ask questions, put your 2 cents in, and let's do this.
yes, let's have this conversation. So my first question is, what is one thing that you guys see that you feel unsupported as a Black woman? If y'all see anything or things that have happened towards Black women that you feel like it shouldn't have happened.
I mean, I think for me, as a professional, as a counselor, I've had many instances where I've been the only Black person on my job.
Hmm.
Where I've been, and I feel like sometimes I don't feel supported when I speak up about certain things, because I'm scared to be looked at as the angry Black woman. If I voice my concern, if it's not in line or in agreement with how they feel, then you're automatically combative or argumentative, instead of just listening to what I'm saying. It's unfortunate, especially in the workplace, especially as a professional. It depends, and I'm sure it gets worse. I'm sure on all levels it's not that great, but I just think it's unfortunate that we're not being heard. Our voices aren't being heard. Our concerns aren't being heard. Even, when we talk about, um, I just saw a post the other day about the medical industry and how, even with counseling Black people, we go get medical treatment, right? We go get treatment for, mental illness. And because, they say they don't think our pain is valid, then
Yeah.
they overlook it. And so then two women are dying after childbirth or during childbirth. Our babies are dying. We're not getting medicated properly. So then we see police officers shooting people in the streets that have mental illness because we're not being treated. So I think those are some ways there.
What
Um,
ways? I'm sorry, Alicia. What ways? So you feel unsupported. What ways do you feel as a Black woman you can help change the narrative for that other Black woman? Like you said, you felt like you was the only counselor, Black counselor. I mean, I know a lot of times, like if we're the only Black person and another Black person come in, we don't help her to get where we're at because we feel maybe threatened. And I think that's what the question Nicole have. Like how would you change that narrative? So say you was the only Black woman here, and then another Black woman came into it to help her get to where you were. Like that's you know how would you go about that, and how would you feel about that?
I mean, I think like what Nicole was saying or asking, how can we make make them feel not threatened. I think it's by embracing one another and being kind, genuinely being kind of one another. I think if we know who we are, going in with confidence, I think that, and if God be for us, who can be against us? As God put us there, and if we something happens, that means he must have something better for us. But I think as Black women, as Black professionals, as business owners, we need to support each other, show one another love and support, and not the cold shoulder like, she thinks she's cuter than me or whatever. Maybe she is cuter than you, but, maybe you need, I mean, I'm just saying, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We don't want to be honest about it. Maybe she is, but maybe this your opportunity. Maybe you need to step up your game. Maybe you need to, you know, um, you know what I'm saying? Dress it up a little bit more instead of like being comfortable. I think a lot of times we get comfortable. So we feel like we don't have to do, we don't have to dress up or whatever. I think we should always shine when we leave the house, not going out the house with our head rags on and our bonnets and our house shoes and whatever. I think we need to, and I'm not saying putting on lashes and lip gloss every time we leave the house, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Be presentable. But I think how we can make another Black woman feel less threatened is by speaking to her, acknowledging her, saying hi, embracing her, being kind to her, being genuine with her, not making her feel like she's less than you. But it's like we're both here. We both made it this far. Let's support each other. And I think the way we can grow is if we support each other and not like that crabs in a barrel syndrome. You know what I'm saying? Tearing each other down. I think that's the only way that we can all successfully get ahead in corporate is if we don't have that crabs in a barrel and that competitive because I think they use that against us like, oh, only two Black girls, let's pit them against each other. But we
Yeah,
need to come together and say, nah, they're not going to play this game. We need to come together. Maybe we need to go to lunch and say, you know what, girl, you see what they're trying to do? Let's not let this happen. Let's do what we got to do and let them know that they need both of us. Let's both put in the work or whatever. So I think that's very important. So
I'm glad you said that because I feel like a lot of the times what we tend to do in those types of situations is focus on that other person, right? We focus on whoever the new Black girl is in the situation, especially in corporate situations. But I think it's more important to focus on the system, right? Like it's not her that is the threat or the issue or your
right,
problem. The issue is the system was set up to make it so that maybe they do only expect to have one check mark in the quota at one time, right? That's not
right,
Right.
her personal issue with you. So you shouldn't come at her in a way that makes it seem like now, like you said, you guys have to be pitted against each other. If you
right,
could come together and talk about that, hey, I've been here for 5 years. The whole 5 years has been just me. Now that you're here, I'm kind of concerned that maybe they're thinking it's time to replace me with you. I really think it should be more of us here on this level. I'm glad you got
mhm,
here too. I like to help you. I like for you to support me in moving the whole, team forward. Just be open and honest and
Right.
recognize if you guys could get to a place where the
right,
two of you team up, so it's not like you against her, but now it's y'all
A
against the
unit.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
right,
Yeah, I was just discussing this with my friend Nicole that's on here. It's like, why do we have to be just one of us at the top? Like, we need
Mhm.
to be able
right,
to, if they not allowing more than one of us to be on the same level, or even a higher level, then we need to start creating our own opportunities and
Right.
lifting each other up to those levels.
Or
And
using that power like Michelle Obama talked about in her book Becoming. When she was at the firm where she was, she made it a point to seek out a more diverse candidates for their summer internship at that particular.
right. Yeah,
So once you get in your place, make it a point to use that influence that you have to bring other people in, to open the doors for other people, especially other women,
mhm,
especially other women of color, especially other Black women, so that the system doesn't feel so threatened. Every time they see somebody whose name ends in an A, they're like, okay, we just need that one. So,
right. And I think a lot of times, if we look at other ethnicities, especially Hispanics, from my knowledge, when they become supervisors, all you see them hiring is their own. And I applaud them for that. It's like, you know what? If I was in your position, I would be doing the same thing.
hmm
So it's like they are known to do those types of things. And I think if we would come together more often, and I think that's probably why you see them having their own communities. You know what I'm saying? If you go to a city, you see like a whole 5 or 6 blocks of Mexican shops. Mexican stores, restaurants, everything on that block is a Mexican, the quinceañera stores, the party supply stores, all those things, because they're supporting each other, hiring each other, they're there for each other, they're uplifting each other, making sure that money stays in their community, right? Because there's a
Mhm.
grocery store there, there's a mechanic there's a cleaners there, and I think a lot of times that we did that, like you said, working together to beat the system instead of trying to say like, oh well, you can't outdo me. I'm
Right.
queen bee right now, or whatever, or agent, what is it, HNIC or whatever they call it.
Mhm.
Uh, we need to not look at it like that. And I think, and we can, if we want to take it there, this has pitted back to what, slavery days, right? Where they
Yeah.
pitted us against each other, the house Negro and the field Negro, whatever. Let's pit them against each other, making one look better than the other, making one look down on the other. And, now there's a competition. And so let's kill each other, not only physically, but
Mentally.
emotionally, tear each
Hmm.
other down, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like it does stem from that, because of course, the black skin and the light skin, and you know what I mean. It does, and it tends to separate us. And I feel like we're not. I feel like we are one of the only groups that we're so separated in our own group. Instead of building each other up and being there for each other. We talk. We see somebody and she not looking great. We'll go to our friend like, "Girl, what's she doing?" Instead of going, "You okay today?
Yeah,
Do you need help?" You
yeah,
know what I mean? Just reaching out because you never know what that person is going through. You
True.
know what I mean? They could have woke up and the house caught on fire and that all they had, but they wanted to get to work or something. We don't know. And instead of just judging each other, just be there for each other and see how we can make their day better instead of judging them.
and I think a
Especially,
lot of times,
no, go ahead.
no, I think a lot of times, we're so quick to talk about each other instead of saying, "Hey, girl," and then I think too, we don't share because we're scared of what the other person may think because we're so used to being talked about. Maybe,
Mm.
like, can I be vulnerable with her? Like, can I tell Elena that my husband cheated on me, for example? Can I tell Alicia that I don't have anything to eat or whatever? Can I tell this person? Or are they going to go back to each other, Alicia and Elena? Girl, did Miranda tell you? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Instead of
Mhm.
saying, let's get together and help Miranda because she divulged some information. We don't have to tell the details, but let's go help her. Let's go check on her. Let's go make sure she's okay, especially in this pandemic. Let's go check on each other. Let's make sure we're okay because people are becoming frustrated. They're losing their minds. Unemployment is about to end and people don't know what they're going to do. And it's just unfortunate what we're going through. And I think a lot of times that we don't see that and look a little bit further than just
Somebody's
physical.
behavior. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you don't know her pain, you can't tell her story. If you don't know her pain, if you don't know what she's been through, how are you gonna judge her? You know what I'm saying? How are you gonna judge her if you don't care enough to ask?
Right.
So
True.
Right. So I just wanted just a few examples because I feel like, especially with us black women, like I said, we need to start being more kind to each other, but also we need to start
yeah.
protecting each other too. And I was talking to Miranda about the video that I saw um, a few days ago in a situation that happened. I don't know if you had a chance to see it or know about it, Alicia, or Alicia or Lanisha, um, about the salon and the client. Did you hear about that or
I
see
haven't
the
seen that.
video?
No.
So it's pretty much this video that shot in the salon where the stylist attacked the client, and it was three stylists on the client, and then the owner, which is a gay black man, dragging the client by her hair out of the salon,
Oh wow.
right? And this is all happening. There's a woman videoing, a woman in the chair, another client in the other chair, and nobody stops to help the woman who's getting attacked.
Wow.
And I'm like, if this was any other race, somebody's gonna go to that woman aid, whether they think she's wrong or not. Someone's
Right.
going to go to her aid. So why not us? Why, when we see
Mm.
each other attacking each other, we just let it happen? And
Mm.
that something needs to happen. Like there needs to be conversations like this. There needs to be something that happens that we are protecting each other.
Yeah.
I can go and tell you like the whole story if y'all want to hear it, but
I really don't want to hear anymore. It's disturbing
Yeah,
enough, you know. It
right,
disturbing.
is.
it's very disturbing, and
The
it was over
video is
seventy
very
five
disturbing.
dollars.
The
Wow.
video is very disturbing. It would hurt my feelings because I was like, I mean, I think it could have been prevented. When Elena shared the video, the beautician was super late with this
Mm.
girl's hair, and the girl ended up waiting what 12 hours, Elena?
11, yeah, 11 hours.
Oh my goodness.
So you're waiting 11 hours to get your hair done, right? We all want our hair done, especially when you, I don't know about y'all, but I know when I know I'm going to go get my hair done the day or two before, I don't really do nothing to my hair and
Hmm.
it's a mess. So, because I know I'm going to get my hair done. So I'm like, so I'm anticipating this day. You're excited about it. So you need your hair done. By the time you get there, it's in need.
Right.
And so you're waiting 11 hours and then you tell the beautician, well, I'm only going to give you half the money because I waited all day for you to do my hair. And
Mm.
then the beautician attacks you. It was disturbing. That
Yeah.
video was very disturbing. So,
I
Yeah.
mean, I think there's so many layers there. Like one that comes to mind for me, I think it would be very difficult for me to sit and watch another black woman just be attacked, whether I felt like I knew what was going on,
right,
they had right or not. But that comes from the value I place on me, right? So I would want somebody to step in and help me when I'm in need. I know I'm worth it. And I think that a lot of the times that's a barrier. If I haven't developed that sense of self-worth, if I see
sure,
myself, I
sure,
anytime there's a black woman in a space, that's a reflection of me in some way, right?
Right.
So if I
mhm,
see myself in
exactly,
you and I see myself in you being dragged out or trash talked or treated badly, does some part of me think
exactly,
that we deserve that? So if I haven't built up my self-worth and how I'm valuing myself, maybe it's hard for me to value you and think that you need protection when you're being attacked. You know, so
yeah,
that's a big part of it. Um, and I think that we have to get used to speaking up for ourselves and
Yeah.
protecting ourselves and not having it be out of a desperate place. Because I see, especially now, everybody's reposting, black women have everybody's back who has our back, those memes that are going around, like who supports, who protects us. And while there's truth there, I think instead of coming at it from a place of, well, we have to look out for each other because nobody else will, let's come at it as, I want to look out for black women because I see the worth in a black woman. I
Yeah.
value you. You're precious. You are magic. So
Yeah.
whether or not somebody has recognized it yet, some outside person, because I'm inside, because I'm you, because I see myself in you, I know you're worth protecting. I know you're valuable. So I'm
right,
going to step up and protect and value you before anybody else catches on. Like, we don't have to do it because nobody else will.
right,
Right.
We do it because we want to. And I think if it comes from more of a place like that, then maybe it would be uh, catch on quicker, you know?
right,
That's really good. That's really good. Because a lot of times you're right. A lot of times you see the people fighting and disrespecting each other because they have no self-respect for themselves,
Right.
or it wasn't taught to them, or they've just been in a place where they just feel less valuable.
And we've all experienced that, like when you're one of few faces of color, one of few black women in a space, you feel like to a degree how she acts is going to reflect on you, right? So we let that color how we
right,
act and behave because, well, she's cutting up, so now I have to speak correctly. Like
Right.
everything that we do doesn't have to come from some deficient place. Like we need to move up a little bit higher and act out of abundance as opposed to reactionary because of things that are outside of our control.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. And
I mean,
I don't know also if y'all seen, because it's not just black women attacking black women. I don't know if you've seen the videos of the black man that hit the girl on the side of the head with the skateboard, or the other black man that threw the other black woman in a trash can,
Oh my
and they
goodness.
while their friends sat around and laughed and videoed.
Those really bothered me.
That bothered me too. You didn't see
I
those,
was
Alicia?
No,
Don't go look
I'm
for
I'm
it.
just thinking. I'm so glad that I haven't
Yeah,
seen any of this
don't go
stuff
look
because
for it.
That's
it's
not a
horrible.
vision you want in your head, because
Right.
to see these young black men hitting black girls, like three or four of them in the face with a skateboard. You know how heavy, and I mean, just hitting her in the face, period,
Very
Period. Yeah.
dangerous. Very traumatic.
heavy,
Like
traumatic.
physically.
And then when she's knocked out on the ground, they're laughing and recording it. I mean, just the mindset of a young black man. Unfortunately, what is your mindset about yourself as a young
Right.
black man? Because you know what, you guys, and it I see when I'm in the grocery store, I'm by myself in the grocery store, and there might be a white couple in front of me, a man and a woman. This white man will go behind this white woman and cover her.
Mhm.
Like I'm gonna touch her or bother her, like he's protecting her. He goes behind her and stands, like, and I'm watching this and I'm like, you know, and it's unfortunate because I don't really see a lot of black men. I'm sure they do it, but I don't see that as often. I do see it often with white couples when I see them out, how the white man will protect and go around and cover and different things like that. And I don't know if our young black men, unfortunately, are having these examples of how to cover and protect and honor the black woman, the black girl. We're so, busy calling, name calling doodoo mama or all these disrespectful, derogatory names that we're calling young black girls instead of queens and stuff like that. It's just a constant disrespect on social media, TV, everywhere you go, in your own homes, disrespecting each other, calling each other out of your name in your own home. A lot of times you're seeing these things, the mom disrespecting the daughter in front of the son or whatever the case may be, and vice versa. So it's just an unfortunate cycle of low self worth
Yeah.
and not valuing ourselves as Black people because we don't value one another. So, like you said, because we don't value ourselves, we're not going to value one another.
Yeah. I think we have to take responsibility for breaking those cycles, though,
Yeah.
and be intentional, almost extremely intentional to combat
Right,
the things that we hear out in the world, the things that we're presented with, like these pieces of media, these videos that are out there, the way that it's, the black woman is the butt of every joke and things like that. I think you have to make sure that starting in your own home and then outwardly to your own circle of influence that you are building up not just black women but the entire black family, because some of the things that you're talking about, like with the black men that are okay with doing this to any woman,
right,
but
Yeah.
especially a woman, that they should be feeling some type of responsibility for. That's coming from somewhere. They didn't just wake
Yeah.
up one day and feel like that was okay. That's some trauma of some
right,
kind, some neglect that they've
exactly,
experienced,
right,
some hating that they have of themselves, and we don't
right,
excuse it. But I think we have to acknowledge it and start from there as a place of healing so that we
right.
know what we need to address,
Yeah,
because that just shouldn't be.
Right. And I think you said it right, is social media. Like if you see the video, stop sharing it. Like we
Yeah.
need to stop sharing
yeah,
these negative imagery of our community. So they say that's not okay. That's not
right,
okay. When that happens, stop giving them light, stop giving them fuel, because it's
Hmm.
not okay. And then when you see the videos of us, of the men protecting the women or the women helping each other and the positive things, that's what needs to be
shared,
posted and going viral. Like
exactly,
we need to be intentional in our community of how other communities see us, because
exactly.
to be honest, I'm tired of seeing fighting videos on my page. Like I started to unfollow people who was posting stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm tired of seeing it. Like
Yeah,
it's not cute. It's not,
Funny. Yeah.
uplifting. It's not
Hmm.
funny. It's really not
it's
funny.
not.
Like you guys are mad and angry and you attacking each other instead of trying to find a solution and building each other up.
Yeah.
Right,
And it's really sad. And I'm sorry, I don't want a world where my daughter have to go through that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I have a 3-year-old, and you do, Alicia. Your boys are
6 and 4.
6 and 4, right? So like I want to be able to know that they're growing in a world where they're going to be uplifted, um, because of the color of their skin, and not in
Right.
spite of.
And
You know what I mean?
even
And
with my
it don't start with other communities. It starts with us.
right.
Definitely.
And we shouldn't have to, even though I feel like I'm not in certain areas. I didn't come from certain areas. That don't mean I can't embrace those areas and show that, what? Yeah, you might have had a struggle in life, but I'm still going to help you and build you up and teach you that
Mhm.
if you show yourself in a different light, people are going to respect you differently. You're going to feel differently. You're going to respect yourself differently. You know what I mean? Like it's all of our responsibility, not just their parents, because their parents will know. They grew up in the same environment.
Hmm.
And, and even with myself having older children, my daughter has experienced police brutality, being uh, targeted because she's a black girl, her and her boyfriend. My son, being tall and dark skinned or whatever, or my children being targeted, So even having older children, having to have these conversations
Yeah.
with them about who you're hanging out with. If they're getting belligerent and crazy, you might want to walk away or leave that party at that moment or something like that. When you see police around, having to restrain who you are and not, and look like you're having too much fun, because then they're going to come and say, what are you doing, or try to harass you for no reason, just because, again, the color of your skin. And it's a lesson that, like, you all have younger children, but my children have had to, they're living this right now, especially as
Hmm.
young growing adults in their professions, also on their jobs. My son just told me a story about how black customers treat him.
Mm.
They're disrespectful to him, and then they'll go to the white woman or the Mexican man and be, sir, ma'am, and very respectful to
Mm.
them. But then when they talk to him, they're loud, they're angry, they're pointing their finger, they're being extra. And it's like, wow, why do we have to, you treating me like this, but then when you go to Joe over here, you're nice to him and you're
Right.
respectful. So it's unfortunate, and I've even had that own experience. I'm in the store in line. The young lady, white woman's in front of me, and she's like, "Hey, ma'am, how are you?" Da, da, da. I get up to the thing, I'm smiling. She turned her head and start scanning my groceries. I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "Hi, how you doing? You doing okay today?" And so they automatically have a defense up or attitude up. When they see me, even though I look like you already have your wall up because it's me, and it's unfortunate. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what's the best way to get out of that habit. Like, I don't know if in that instance, I'm assuming that something like a customer may have given her a counterfeit bill or something, like she just expects when she sees you that you're up to something. And I don't know if
right,
the answer to that is to treat people individually, just you shouldn't be judging anyone at
right,
all, but to let people's actions and character merit how you treat them as opposed to just judging everyone in a group. I think that
mhm,
that could be part of it, but also I think that again that goes back to if it's so easy for you to internalize a negative stereotype about all black women, even though you're a black woman too, just
right,
because you had one bad customer interaction, like that
right,
seems like there's a bigger thing going on there. So
right,
Yeah.
I feel like it always goes back to this: what are we doing in our homes? How are we building each other up? You know, churches, community organizations,
right,
chambers of commerce that we can join where we see other people that look like us thriving and doing well and, treating each other nicely. I think if we made it a point to seek those things out, we
right,
have to be cognizant of the fact that there's a war going on, right? So there's
Yeah.
negative things that we are facing every day. It's not happenstance, it's a
mhm,
system that is trying to keep us pitted against each other. So if we combat it actively as opposed to just passively taking in whatever videos we come across. You know, we
Right.
have to be as diligent as if it was an attack, because it is. Just because it's not a physical attack doesn't mean it's not a system that's trying to keep us out of certain rooms, that's trying to keep us away from certain opportunities. And if we think about it, everything in that way, you know, we would have more passion about um, having those positive experiences and imagery that you were talking about, Elena.
Yeah, because it's like one of them things where, if they keep seeing it, and like I said, it's more we need to treat each other better in our community,
Hmm.
Right.
and watch what we put out on our community, because they're not going to respect us until we respect ourselves.
That's true.
Yeah.
And we can fight for the system, we can fight for police brutality, we can do all of that, but if we're not fixing our internal community, it's not going to work,
Yeah.
because they're going to still see those images of us not respecting each other. And
Hmm.
why would they respect us or bring us to a different level if we just don't respect ourselves? It has
Right.
to be an internal change, and that's in our community. So I feel like while those people that's fighting for us on the higher level, our leaders,
Hmm.
us in our community that can help the one little girl see herself in a better light. We need to
Hmm.
start like things where we could just build each other up,
Right.
so we can change our own narrative. And
Yeah.
it's not going to help until we start
We have to do
on.
it ourselves.
Yes. And
It
we
starts
can't
with
leave, like they
within.
say, no child behind.
Yeah.
No little black girl behind, no little black boy behind. Start
Hmm.
building them up. If
It
you
starts from the
see if you
inside.
see a black mom talking down to her child, I know she might attack you for saying something, but just say something like,
Right.
hey queen, why don't you start you know what I mean? You have to say something. Don't
Hmm.
cuss her out. Just take it to the side and be like, look, we're trying to build our communities up. Okay, you talking to him is just going to start a cycle that maybe your mom might have treated you that way. Let's change the narrative. Like, maybe they'll accept it, maybe they not. Maybe they'll just give them a when they get home, be like, you know
Right.
what?
You planted a
You
seed.
yeah, plant a
Hmm.
seed. Like, we need to start changing the narrative in our minds, and showing people that you are valuable, because a lot of
Yeah.
them don't think they're valuable because the system don't give them money for their schools, and all this other you know what I mean, like give us money because I'm part of it, but you know what I mean, I don't live in the inner city, you know what I mean, and I grew up in um,
Right.
I think
just a
also we
different
need to
area.
clap for the different people that are doing this work already, because it's
Yes.
easy to say, you know, well, we have all these negative images, and maybe you just need to seek out the people that are desperately trying to share
Right.
and amplify the positive images, because there
Right.
are thankfully lots of especially black voices doing that work right now. Like I know, Miranda, you were talking about um, the medical community and how many, like the black maternal health rate is atrocious and very concerning. And there are thankfully groups out there that are working to lobby the legislature to make changes and
Right.
bring awareness to those efforts. And when you're talking about things for kids to look at, you know, there's I follow a lady on Instagram who does Photoshop, where she creates herself as the Disney princesses, and she's got, you know, beautiful dark skin. And so when the people see it and they show their kids, then they dress up in their princess costumes, and
Yeah.
sometimes she'll repost them too, you know. So those are the kind of things I try to follow. And I don't even have a
Right.
daughter, you know, I just like looking at the
Yeah.
images
Yeah.
myself, because it's like, yeah, black princess. But
Right.
I think if we seek those things out because they're out there and share them so that they can get more momentum, let's let that be the thing that we share, as
Right.
opposed to, you know, these videos that we were talking about. Let's let that be the thing that we are actively talking to people about. Like, yeah, there's a movement. It's small, it's grassroots funded, you know, but they're out there, they're doing the work, they're trying to bring change to where we see change is needed. We have to make sure that those are the things we're supporting with, you know, social media, in
Hmm.
conversation, and then when we can, with our checkbooks. You know, we have to be able to donate to these different organizations that are in the community, making sure that there is more light out there than
Right.
darkness, especially right where it's needed.
Right.
Because if we don't support ourselves doing the work, then it makes it, so much harder.
Yeah.
Right. And we have to put the money in back into our own communities. Like I mentioned before, how the Hispanics have their own, they put money back into their own community with all of their different shops and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And, what you touched on, Alicia, about the princesses, I made it a habit with my children growing up to buy books. Fortunately, there were books out during, when they were younger that had Black characters.
Right.
When the Disney princess came out, I immediately bought the book and the doll and everything because my daughter, I'm like, I want her to see someone that looks like her who's a princess. I'm calling her a princess all the time. But I also wanted her to see something like that. And we watched the movie together. And so those are things that we're, like you said, in your own homes, we're encouraging and bringing those things into our homes. And we're also, making sure that we're supporting and uplifting one another. And I just wanted to remind the audience, for those who are just now joining us, our conversation tonight is talking about uplifting and supporting Black women and women of color, and encouraging one another, loving on one another, being there for one another. How can we better support our community? How can we better support our families, one another as Black women, as professionals, just as women, period?
Hmm.
When we're seeing each other in the grocery store, when we're seeing each other out in public, you know, um, when we are in the beauty supply and someone's acting up or being whatever, extra, how can we better be there for one another, or not feel, like you said, have to put the weight on our shoulders to justify or over accommodate for that person, but just being ourselves and just letting them see different narratives of Blackness.
Hmm.
We're not all the same, like you said, the young Black girl, judging all Black women the same because maybe another Black woman disrespected her, treated her bad, so she treats me bad. And I
Hmm.
think that's how other races look at us. They see that one narrative of us on TV. So all Black people are like this, or all Black women are angry, or all Black women are supposedly superwoman. And so we're burdened down and we're tired and we're angry and we're single and all these other things, instead of just being who we are,
Yeah.
and just showing them who we are and being positive, and bringing that different perspective wherever we go. you know and I notice for myself too, when I go to places, if I'm not embraced, like for example, I go in a store and you don't help me or speak to me, I
Hmm.
leave.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend my money in here because I can shop where you can shop. I can
Right.
go where you can go. Thankfully, I'm able to do that. But I'm not going to spend my money in Dillard's or Macy's or Nordstrom's or Saks, and you don't speak to me, or you act like you can't help me, or you're following me around the store. You don't need to follow me. I'm not going to, every Black woman doesn't steal. And so I've had to tell my own children, my own daughter, if they treat you a certain type of way, if you don't feel respected,
Hmm.
don't give them your dollars. And I think we need to understand that, especially when we had that momentum where there was Gucci and all these different brands that was being disrespectful to Black people. And and many people were steadily supporting these brands. You know, why? You know what I'm saying? When we're very talented, we can create our own fashion or our own, what I'm saying, brands and styles. We're so creative and talented, right?
Yes,
So
we
why do we
are.
have to wear their GG on our waist when they're sitting
Right.
up there treating us or disrespecting us? I mean, and I think a lot of times when we do things like that, like, oh my gosh, they doing this and we're gonna boycott, they probably sit back and be like, okay, yeah, we know you'll be over there in a couple of months anyway. You know, you'll be back in our store spending your thousands of dollars. So okay, yeah, get mad now, but we'll see you in a couple of months. Talk to you later.
Mm.
So I think we really need to be mindful of our decisions. Keep, right now, supporting Black businesses and being there for one another. I think is so important right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also you touched on just being yourself, because I think a lot of the times people don't realize even within the same family, a Black person can be so varied, like we are not all the same. We don't
Right.
all like the same things, so I think it's very freeing to be able to be whatever kind of Black person you are, and like the things that you like. Like for instance, my husband is the biggest Star Wars nerd. Like he knows all about all of the different books and things that's not even in the movies, and he would be the guy at Comic Con. Like if that's you, that's fine. Be the nerdy Black
Do
person.
you?
Like,
Right.
whatever kind of black person you want to be. And I think the more that we are freeing ourselves to be ourselves, then that will help us first not judge each other
Right.
as one big group, you know. And if we get used to doing that, then hopefully other people will catch on. But even if they don't, we have to be concerned with
Right.
how are we treating each other more than, you know, how is somebody seeing us? Because honestly, that part might not ever change. You know,
Right.
we are a product of our tragic history having been taken from our land and brought here. So we might not ever get the luxury of being viewed the way that we really are by others, but
Right.
we have to at least do the work to view ourselves in a valuable way like we know that we truly are. So we can just be free to be ourselves.
Yeah.
That's
And
good.
me and Miranda was talking about that because we are very different. But like if she does something that I'm like, oh, Miranda, but we talk about it, we discuss it, and I respect her opinion for who she is because we're 12 years apart.
Mhm.
So we're gonna have different ways of handling different things, but to respect her for her opinion and her ideas, and she can
Yeah.
respect me for my opinion, my ideas, and then we can get past the issue faster by just listening to each other
Right. And you
instead
can
of
build a stronger team that way. I mean, you have
exactly
different things to offer. And I think that's the beauty of Black people as well. If we bring everybody in, you know, and value everybody's opinion, everybody's perspective, everybody's history, you know, we
Right.
can have the best party.
right.
Right. And like Jen said, others don't make us. We have to be who we are. Like you said, be an individual. We are our individuality, our value, and our identity comes from God.
Yeah.
We have to make that decision and say, I'm not going to be clumped into this group. I don't care who you think I should be. I know who I am. I'm not that person. And I'm not going to dumb me down or succumb to whatever your thoughts of me should be. I'm
Hmm.
just going to do me. And, this is your opportunity. The other person is in a good position. This is your lucky day to learn something new about me or about Black folks. So this is your lucky day. So maybe other people can learn something new by what we bring to the table.
Right.
And I think that's the history of America too. Like, you know, when we're talking about jazz or when you're talking about
Hmm.
um, the culinary history of the country, or just, you know, anything that you want to touch, especially if you're being creative, anything creative that is today would not be the way that it is today if it wasn't for the Black influence that this country has been able to enjoy but never fully had to reckon for, you know, reckon with or be thankful for. We have to start teaching ourselves that history so that we can know that we have intrinsic value, and it's not just you know, a bedtime story that we tell each other when it's those 28 days of February. You know, like, this has to be something that we're doing all the time, that we're
Every
telling
day.
each other about, that we're telling our kids about, that we're sharing, and that we're soaking in so that we can again value ourselves more and value who we are, because these messages that we're fought with all day are telling us to do the opposite.
Right. And I just want to address this question really quick. Elena, I apologize. It says, will Dr. Walters be interviewed as well? Elaine, unfortunately, we mentioned at the beginning, unfortunately, Dr. Walters will not be joining us today because she had an emergency. And so she won't be with us, unfortunately, today. So we're just having a conversation about Black excellence, Black women supporting one another, Black Girl Magic. And unfortunately, we were super excited to interview Dr. Walters because she is definitely Black Girl Magic for sure. But unfortunately, she had to deal with some things at her school. And so we're hopefully be able to interview her again in the past.
In the future.
We're sending
Yes,
healing
in the
for
future.
whatever she's dealing with. Yeah.
And so, Elaine, if you want to join this conversation and you have some comments about Black Girl Magic, share everybody, comment, ask questions, put your 2 cents in. We are just here, just wanting to be transparent and supportive of one another. If you've had an experience that you want to share, we've talked about being in the workplace and at home and in our communities. So we're just being women on here tonight, sharing our experiences and supporting one another. So thank you for joining us, everyone.
Yes. You're gonna say something, Alicia? I'm sorry.
Just that, you know, one of the ways I think that we can continue to support each other, especially when you're talking about Black women supporting other Black women
Yes.
is just remember the power that you have when you show up. Like, for instance, today you guys
Yes. We
had
appreciate it.
someone else scheduled and it was like a last minute thing. And I was at the grocery store, but it's like, yeah, I can be ready in an hour, like just recognize that me taking the time out is going to help you guys maybe feel like keep going with this platform that you're building,
Yes.
or to help somebody else feel like they can be free to be themselves and value themselves. Like, whatever you're doing, whoever you are, when you show up, when you enter a room, when you come into a conversation, recognize the power that you have and that you're
Right.
bringing something to the table, that you're making it better in some way, if that's the energy that you carry with yourself all the
Yeah.
time. So don't be discounting the power of when your sister is doing a program or your friend has a podcast that she started. Show up for each other.
That's
Yeah.
good. Thank you for, and we definitely appreciate you because we reached out to various women and they were all busy. It was all a last minute thing.
Yeah,
And, but,
sure.
that's what it's all about, right? We have to stay ready. We have to be ready. And a lot of times, that's just life. We come against opposition and disappointment and uh, closed doors. But how are we going to combat that? How are we going to move
Right.
forward? Are we going to just give up and throw up our hands and say, "Oh no, I quit"? Elena wouldn't let me do that anyway. Um,
I
but
said it's okay because
I
she
know
texted me.
I
I was
was,
like, it's okay. We're gonna do
yeah,
this, this, and this. Let's call some people. Let's see if we can get a panel together. Let's do
yeah,
this. It's okay.
Yeah.
It just
and we
wasn't the
move
right
forward.
time. It's God is showing us where to go, and I feel like
Right?
this is a conversation that needed to be had. Because
Yeah,
we do need to grow as a community. Like Alicia said, we need to just show up for each other, and we just
yeah.
appreciate you. I appreciate Lanisha too. She was having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yes,
She would have been on here
Lanisha,
too, but she was
we
really
thank
having technical
you.
difficulties.
I
And all
think
the
we
ladies,
all were having a day today. That's why I
I
look
think
super shiny.
so. Yeah, I think we're all having a day, but you know what? How amazing it is for all of us having a day to come together to support each other and say, you know what, girl, I'm having a day, you're having a day, but we're going to come on here and laugh and we're going to talk. And so we thank you for everyone on here tonight, all the audience, everyone checking in with us, everyone who is making comments and just listening to us on tonight. We're just so grateful. Thank you for showing up for us because, we love our audience. We love our platform. We love Bougie Girl Cyber Happy Hour. Bougie is an acronym that stands for bold, one of a kind, unbothered, God's girl, intentional, and elegant. You look at God's girl. These are our t-shirts. I have on a bougie t-shirt as well. And so join the movement, join the revolution, join just us being bougie, not worrying about what the world says about us. Again, we're talking about what people think about us. But what does God say? All those letters in bougie are things how God looks at us. We're
Yeah.
his girls. He loves us. We're the apple of his eye, right? We're bold as a lion. We're one of a kind. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. We're tailor made. We're unbothered because he doesn't want us to be worried about everybody else, right? What do you think about me? What do you think about me, girl? What do you think about me? No, but what does God think about me, right? I'm intentional. I'm intentional about my business. It's like tonight, we're intentional. We have to be intentional in stepping forward and doing what we have to do, even when it hurts, even when we don't feel like it, even when we're disappointed. We have to be intentional and being elegant, right? Um, we're elegant. We a little bougetto every now and then as well, but we're elegant. We can walk in a room. We're prepared for anything.
Yeah.
We can walk in the room with grace and class and style, and we can change the atmosphere. We are so awesome, you guys. We can change the atmosphere of a room into something positive. We don't have to bring our negativity and our heaviness into a room. We can bring our love for God and our love for people, our love for one another into a room and change the whole atmosphere. That's just who we are, you guys. We just awesome, right?
Yes.
So that's what we're talking about on tonight. So
And I'm gonna touch on something that you said, Miranda, because I feel like we all have a purpose for something. Because we are one of a kind. And even when, like, if today, it got canceled and we did not, we didn't do nothing. We was like, okay, well, let's just cancel. Sometimes God places things in our hearts and tell us to do certain things, and we have to push past it because we don't know who that's gonna help. And sometimes when you
Exactly.
might have a brick or a brick wall in front of you, sometimes you're going to have to climb it because you don't know who it's for.
Yeah.
And it might be hard for you, but you're learning a lesson that you can teach to your sister so she won't
Yeah,
even have to learn that lesson.
Mm.
So,
exactly.
as you grow and you're coming into like your
Right.
gifts and your purpose, there are going to be oppositions, but it's lessons that's needed so you can teach somebody else so they can get past it, and then their lessons just going to teach somebody else. So I feel like
Yeah.
as a community, let's lift each other up. Let's help each other find our purpose. Because yeah, we might have similar things. I'm a
Yeah.
hairstylist. There's a million hairstylists. I'm a
There's no
photographer.
other Elena.
No, there's not.
Right.
But I'm just saying there's a million photographers. There's a
Mhm.
million people that's about to do podcasts, but nobody has my voice, and my voice matters to people who God is going to place in front of them to hear. So
Yeah.
just because you feel like, oh man, I want to do this, but there's already somebody who did this. There's a book that's already written for this, but
Right.
there's billions of people and somebody need to hear your story.
Mm.
Somebody need to
Yes.
see what you have to put out there to encourage them. So yes, there might be other people that do what you do, but there's a million people and a billion people that's not you. So just
Exactly.
keep mushing, pushing, keep, being out there, keep encouraging your friend. Don't be like, yeah, but that's been done, because that happens. We tell our
Mhm.
friend,
Yeah.
and they just discourage you instead of being like, you know what? That's a good idea. How can I help you?
Yeah.
Right. That's the key. How
And
can I help you?
right, and I would hate to say if you have that friend, it's time to move on because we're trying to uplift each other.
Yeah.
But sometimes moving on for that friend shows them that they're something that they need to fix.
Mm.
Right.
Sometimes you have to walk away from people so they can grow. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you're weighing them down because they're lagging onto you and they can't grow because they're attached to you.
Right.
So that's
When
all I
you
have to
feel like
say.
you're an enabler, because I felt like that. I had to kind of break away from a friend because I felt like I was enabling her. I loved her too much to continue to do what we were doing. In ministry, I was like, you know what, maybe I need to let her be independent so she can grow in God. She
Mm.
can grow and be the woman that she needs to be. So if she does something, I'm still going to support her now. I didn't just like, oh, I'm going to just let
Not
you
cut her
go.
off.
Yeah, so I didn't cut her off, but it's like in this particular instance, we're not going to do this as a team anymore because I'm enabling you. You're leaning too much on me, and I know you're better than that. I don't want to be your crutch. So I think if we can also help, I think that's another way we can help one another, not enable one another,
Mm.
not do the work for them, but show them how to do it. Like you said, teach them how to fish, right? And so they can eat. And I don't do all the fishing for you. So thank you so much, Monique, for joining this conversation. That's what we're all about. We have our bad days too, but, overall, we want to inspire women to be better, to be confident, and not look at another woman as my competition, but as a friend, as a sister. I use that word a lot of times, sis, and women don't. I think some women get offended when I tell, hey, sis, or whatever. They get kind of offended. I use it as a term of endearment because I look at you as my sister.
Mhm.
And so it's not a derogatory thing, but I look at you as my sister, as a woman who I can build with, I can share with. How can I help you? How can we? This I heard someone say having a mutually beneficial relationship sometimes. How can I help you? How can you help me? And it's not
Mhm.
about money or whatever, but it's about what resources do you have? What do I have? Let's come together and work together.
And like I said, I have friends that's photographers, and we share information because we want to see each other grow. I have
Yeah.
friends that's stylists, and I we share information because I want to see you grow, because what you're in life is supposed to go. Your success in life is going to be different from my success in life. So, but that
Right,
don't mean I can't help you get to that level, or help each other learn. Like if I see you doing
right.
something, because when I first started hair, there this one woman, she just watched me do stuff wrong. I was doing I was doing some like a a permanent set on this lady. And I'm just doing it all wrong. And she just watched me do it, right?
Wow.
Until finally somebody else who went back was like, no, you need to like do it this way. And I knew, I saw her eyes, and I'm like, I'm brand new. Like, you could have just took me to, and it was another black woman, but the Asian woman came to help me
Oh,
to do it the correct way. But she just sit there and just like, she kept trying to sabotage me. She just watched me do stuff wrong and just,
oh
you
no.
know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I ended up uh I came into the salon at the bottom within less than 6 months. I was top three in sales because I was watching and growing. I learned how to cut because I was watching all the women around me and growing, because I'm that person. If I see somebody can do it in the salon, even though I'm struggling, but I see you making money and I see you
Mm-hmm.
moving and we're in the same location, that mean I can do
Yeah.
it. So let me watch what you're doing, because I
Right.
need to be there and I know it can be done. So I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I am, and I think that's how I inspire when I'm because I'm in leadership. I'm the manager at this moment temporarily. I let them know that it's temporary. uh, I try to inspire. Some people take it as bragging, but I'm not, because I'm telling you, if I can come in and I can gain clientele, you can do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not impossible. I'm not the best at hairstyling, but I have customer service,
Hmm.
and I showed my clients that I care.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
when you're brand new to stuff, we all ended up brand new at something. You're
Right.
Yeah.
always never going to be the best, but if you put your best foot forward, show that you care, your clients is going to rock with you and watch you grow.
Right.
So same
And
thing, like, right, in our communities, if we show each other that we care, I
right.
see you trying. You're not doing a good job right now, but you can. I'm gonna still help you as long as I see you trying.
That's a good point. I think we need to give people the room to grow and
Yeah.
get better at things, because a lot of
Yeah.
times, especially like in microwave society that we have, we expect ourselves to be an expert at something we just started because we
Right.
want to get to the level where we see the other experts, but that's not sensible for most things that you do. You have to learn. And I think if we gave ourselves more grace, and then we were more gracious with others and gave people room to, make mistakes, try again, still be nice, let me know what's going on, like just give people the room to grow and support them along the journey, like it would be a lot better for all of us.
Yes.
Right. That's
Yes.
good. I
Yes.
think that's like you said, grow and not judge is what Jen Harris said. She said, grow and not judge. So we're here to grow with one another, help one another, and give each other constructive criticism. We're not here to judge one another. Like she said, if you can see me do something better, maybe you can show me how to save time. Like you
Right.
said, not make those same mistakes that I made. But here's something, a tip that I learned. Let me share it with you. Let me help you to do this better, more efficient.
Hmm.
And I think sometimes, if we are the best at something, which is, I don't think there's anything wrong with being, I think there's room to grow. So that means maybe we need to move on to another, to the next level. Like she said, now being a manager, maybe feeling like, what, when you find yourself being complacent, being like, what, maybe I need to apply for that manager position. Maybe
Hmm.
I need to see if I can be district manager. Maybe I can move forward and do something
Maybe
different.
it's time for me to be the owner.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Because sometimes we're at that place where it's like, oh, I need to own my own business now. So, and I think that's awesome that we can get to that place, always still remaining humble and teachable, because even as an owner, we can still learn some things. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good. So,
yeah.
ladies,
So,
it's at the top of the hour. We've been here a whole hour. I hope we
yeah.
hit some points, and we gave you guys a little something, people who's watching live
Yay.
and on the replay. We just wanted to
Thanks,
come here and
everybody.
talk. Yes, thank you so much for watching us, because it could
Yeah.
just be us talking and like zero people watching. But
I know. We're
look,
thankful.
we appreciate it. And thank you, Alicia, again for just saying yes and hopping on and being there for your girl, your girls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Thank you. We appreciate you. If anyone has any last minute, we're giving you a last minute opportunity to comment or ask questions, but we have been on here an hour. So we
And
don't want to
I
take
want
up
to
your
say thank
whole.
you to Jackie. I
Thank you,
I'm
Jackie. Thank you, Jackie.
Yeah,
I
she's
mean,
so bomb, huh, Jackie? Elena is bomb. And so is
Oh,
Miranda.
thank you.
Clap for our sisters.
thank you. So is Alicia. All of us, we're bomb.com. We're Black
Yes.
Girl Magic on
Yeah.
here. We all are in our own lane. I love to stay in my own lane. I don't like to step on people's toes. I'm the type of person that I like to stay in my lane. I don't want to be in your lane. I don't want to do what you do. I don't want to, you know, yes, I can learn some new things, but I think in my lane as a counselor, as a wellness person, I like to just stay in my lane. I don't want to step on people's toes, so I don't really like to do that. I'm just thankful for what I can do, and I do my best at what I can do.
You
So
do a
I'm just
great job.
thank you. I appreciate that. I want to be the best mother that I can be because that's my lane.
Yeah.
The best high school counselor I can be because that's my lane. The best servant I can be because that's my lane. I enjoy serving my ministry and my pastor. And so before we get off of here, let's all give a shout out to our pastors and our churches because we are in social distancing and quarantining, and we've been just doing social media and church online. But our
Mhm.
pastors have been so diligent and awesome and continuing to encourage us. And so their jobs are not easy as well. So we need to support our churches. So my pastor is Pastor Detrius D. Lewis. You can follow him on social media, Unity Church of Dallas, Unity Worship Center in Shreveport. Just an amazing man of God, prolific man of God, prophet, very intelligent, relevant, and relatable. You all give a shout out to your pastors in church.
Sure. My church is the Mixed Church. We're in Baltimore. My pastor is Pastor Marcus England, and I just, I love my church. They do a lot for the community. Every time the church is doing something, you see my pastor out there too, passing out
Mhm.
boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, and his whole goal and our goal as a community is to create a better community in Baltimore.
yeah,
We just did Serve Day where we're serving the first responders and giving back to them to show that we care,
Awesome.
and we want to
that's
show the
good.
community that church is not a place that you just go and get judged. Church is a place where you come to get change.
Mm.
Amen.
So, yeah, that's my church. I love them. You can go to the Mixed Church Baltimore on YouTube. That's where we have our sermons on Sunday
Yeah.
at 9:30 and 11:30. They go live. We do a big production with a small production team because it's still COVID, so we still. But I'm on a production team. I'm actually on the creative team. I'm one of the photographers. Haven't been able to go in a while because of work, but it's okay. They're gonna see me again. But I just love my church.
That's
Monique,
great.
Monique shouted out her church in Houston. I didn't know you were on here. Hi, Monique from R.C. Blake's church, new home in Houston. I used to go there when I was in Houston. So
Cool.
I lived in Houston last year. So I just got to Dallas this year. So shouts out. Hi, Monique.
My church.
Go ahead, Alicia.
So I go to Together We Stand Christian Church. It's in the Stafford area, Stafford, Missouri City area outside of Houston. And our bishop is Bishop Allen Rice Sr., and his lovely wife is our pastor, Pastor Cheryl Rice. And they've actually been on a well earned, much needed break
Mm,
after experiencing a sudden and tragic loss. And so I also want to shout out my dad, who is the associate pastor, who's been kind of holding it down in their stead and letting them get some much earned rest. So great job, Pop.
yay. So also, here's another shout out for a church. Life Center Church in San Bernardino, California. Pastor Keith Tolbert. Hi, Jen Harris. I used to live in San Bernardino. So,
Kenny in the
shout out
house.
to your church. Hey, y'all. And also, my church is hosting a conference in September. It's called Strength Conference. So you
Mm,
go to strengthwc.com to register. I will be one of the speakers, you guys.
Yay!
awesome.
Please register. We are enforcing social distancing, so we're not going to have. We're only allowing so many registrants there, but we will be social distancing. Masks are required. We're going to be taking your temperature. But go to strengthwc.com and register. It's only $39. Please do so. And ladies, I also want to say, if you all have a conference coming up, an event coming up, a book that you're publishing, anything that you want to share, we have a I'm Bougie private Facebook group, and go to that group and share, post your flyer, share what you're doing, because again, we're here to encourage and uplift and support one another as women,
Mm-hmm.
as Black women especially. So if you have something that you're doing, please put it in that Facebook group. It's called I'm Bougie. It's a private group, but come on and join us. And we want to support whatever you're doing out there. So, and thank you, Jacqueline, for saying congratulations. I'm a little nervous. I'm excited as well. I
You'll
spoke
do
last
great.
year, but I'm excited. So I
So
appreciate my pastor for giving me the opportunity. So,
Yeah,
we have
God is
another
gonna
church
move through
shout
you
out.
for sure.
Elaine says Mount Calvary International by Apostle, well, with Apostle Terry
Terry,
Gullidge in
mhm.
Monroe, Louisiana.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Louisiana, awesome. Queenology is tomorrow with
Oh
uh,
wow.
Bishop R.C. Blakes. It's an online registration, so I think it's $39, Monique. So Queenology is going to be on Saturday and Sunday, virtually. So if you have not heard of Bishop R.C. Blakes or Queenology, please look into it. It's amazing. Some great information. So,
I'm sorry, I was just waving because she said hi.
all right. Well, that's it for us. You all have a great evening. Enjoy your weekend. We will be back on Sunday for Sunday Girl Chat. We're just going to be here chatting it up, as girls, just having a nice conversation. I'm not
Yes.
sure what we're going to talk about because we kind of touched on it today, but we might get into it a little bit more about
It's
just
gonna be, it'll be a little less serious, more laughs.
more laughs, a lot more smiles. Join us. We usually go on, what is it, 6 p.m. Eastern.
Mhm.
So join us for Girl Chat, and then we'll be here on Monday for Healthy You Corner.
Yes.
So thank you so much for supporting our page. Please like our page, follow our page, and join the private group. We love you guys, and we're
It-
praying for all of you all. So,
yes. It's gonna be at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
okay, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Jacqueline asks what time on Sunday.
Okay, thank you, Jacqueline, girl. Come on back and join us, girl.
Yes.
Get in this conversation, get in some girl chat with us. Have fun on a Sunday after we've been to church, we've had our dinner. We just gonna chill and chat it on up. So thank you all again. We love you all. Thank you for supporting us. We're a growing channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 likes, you guys, 1,000 follows. So help us do that. Share with your friends and family. We love you guys. Be blessed and encouraged. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye, you guys.